Alright, y'all. Just literally touched down to Washington, D.C. about 30 minutes ago. Now it's game time. I'm gonna walk across the street so y'all can see the building. But right here, you can see it as the embassy right here. But I'm here for the embassy of Estonia. Time to go pick up my identifications.
Estonian embassy.
Yes, I have an appointment for 2
To the
o'clock.
left side.
The
Left side.
left side?
Left side.
All right. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Nice to meet you.
Nice.
Lorenzo.
So you're here to pick up your card?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a passport with you?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. How's the weather outside? Better?
Yeah, you said better when it was hot? It's been hot?
Yeah. I was hoping it would rain, but it's not.
So you were hoping for the rain, huh?
Yeah. So, just get them. I need to take your fingerprints as well. Under your name, you can sign here and then write your name and the date, which is 8th of August.
Okay. Hmm. 8/8/18.
Yep, you can write your name.
Right.
Yeah, Chinese like number. Must be a lucky day.
It must be.
Alright, and then I'll take the fingerprints here, so your right hand index.
Okay.
Finger.
Right index.
other finger, the other finger is stronger. Good. And then the left one. This, and the card is here. Get the card reader, and here are the passwords. So if you
So this is a card reader?
Yeah.
What does that do?
you put it in the computer like this via USB drive, and the card chip goes here, the chip like this, and then you can install. If you put this in the computer, it will install all the software.
Oh,
And
really?
then you can use it to encrypt documents or
Really?
yes.
Okay.
Or use the services back in Estonia, all the services that we have. And so here are the PIN codes. First is just to log in, and the other one is then to use for encryption or whatever you need to do, banking or give this to you.
Gotcha.
And that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, there's a web address in the back. You can get
Okay.
more information from as well.
Sounds good. I'll get right to it. So I'll be enjoying the next few days in Washington.
All right, yeah. This will start working in the next 24 hours.
I'll start working in the next 24 hours.
They open the certificates, so register them once in 24 hours. So it might start working tomorrow morning when Estonia wakes up again. Because today they already worked. The work day is over.
Okay.
And it should be fine.
Okay.
So I'll let you out.
Sounds good. Appreciate your time. Excuse my tardiness.
Oh, no, that's okay. It's slow in the summertime. So no problem at all. Yeah, if you can enjoy the time in Washington, it's pretty hot.
I definitely
I
will.
guess it's better in Chicago. I have to open it. All right, thanks.
All right. Thank
Have a
you.
good day.
Bye-bye. Alright, that's it. It's game time. Let me get some shade. Bang, 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 bang. What's crack-a-lackin'? What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? Now y'all know I'm always stepping shit up a notch. I always got other things up my sleeve, leveling up. You know? What's up, man? Wow. Yeah, it's hitting. How you gonna hit that? Now I gotta find something to do. So, flew all the way out here from Chicago for that quick 5 minutes. 5 minutes. A very important 5 minutes to a very important place that's going to be very significant in my journey. So she said my identifications are going to be active in 24 hours. Let me bust these open real quick. So there's a card reader that the well, I'm not gonna get into it. I'm gonna give y'all the whole sauce shortly. I'm not gonna get into it. But what I will say is this is adding another notch up under my diplomatic belt. And definitely an upper hand in commerce. That's what it's all about. So let me find somewhere to post up at real quick. Well, my job is done. Now everything else is leisure. Welcome to the Embassy of Estonia. I wonder who's in that building. For the record, I don't know. Besides this place right here, I don't know where the hell I'm at or where the hell I'm going. But it don't matter because the mission is accomplished. So everything else is up to the laws of the universe. I've waited 5 long months for this. About 5 or 4, one of them. At least it felt like it. Patience, patience, patience. Patience, time, and money. A little bit of patience, time, and money. Conquest Field. What up, boy? Hey, y'all, so where should I go next in Washington? Should I go to the White House? Start some trouble? What's good? Pop in.
What up, young man? What up, man? Grab my headset. Damn, I can't even hear you. What is up with my mic? Can you hear me? There we go. There we go. Now I
Alright.
can hear you.
Then I wonder, was I mute the whole damn time?
No, you wasn't mute. I can hear you majority of the time.
Shit. I can't. That's fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
What's good, man?
Oh, man, I'm working on a few things like buying the city, a little something. I ain't doing too much. Collecting some oaths and bonds, getting some employees on deck. That's about all. Nothing major, man.
Okay.
What's this? You said something
Man,
about buying it. You said something about a consulate. What's going on there, bro?
I had to finish up a process. That's adding a little an extra notch to my diplomat position. So
Mm.
the embassy of Estonia. So that was dealing with, Europe. Europe is the first country to establish a e-residency which allows you to become a limited resident of Europe to be able to conduct business throughout Europe and all the other countries
Is
through
that a part of
crypto.
the Brinks too, or no?
Huh?
Is that a part of the Brinks agreement too, or no?
Nah, I don't think it's got nothing to do with that. This is
Mm.
now Europe is the first country to do it, so I was like one of the first in line. Uh, I don't know if you know Dr. Mahdi. He put me up on that, man. Back when I did a seminar in Detroit, and I jumped right on it.
No, I'm not familiar with him. Is he from Detroit? Or he from somewhere else?
He's actually from Europe himself. That's how you knew about it.
Mm. Mm.
See, don't know about people. Us over here, we don't know about that, so we gotta get our information directly from the sources.
Yeah.
You know,
Some
so
cases,
that's what
very
that was
true.
about.
Yeah, right. Nothing wrong with that.
So
I
so
understand.
so so with this, I'll be able to establish or easily establish. I'll have a foreign business address, foreign business location. I can easily open up foreign business accounts offshore. You know, anywhere through Europe and all over the country. So this is
Okay.
gonna really make things a lot easier as far as moving around, operating.
Now you said
Uh,
something about cryptocurrency. What is that pertaining to that particular situation surrounding the circumstances of foreign currency, or what's going on there?
yeah, the banks that are established through the e-residency is are all gonna be pretty much transferred and converted over into the cryptocurrency as a
Mm.
form of like asset protection.
Mm. Mm. Okay. Nothing wrong with that. I knew Europe had accepted cryptocurrencies, and since technically it's beginning, but I didn't know they were using it for any other international purpose, except for if
Yeah,
the Brinks was done on it. I mean, I didn't see it in their constitutions or anything formatted around the statutes that they have and laws there, provided that you can use cryptocurrency for any other purpose but trading. At least far as European laws are concerned. China, Japan, they opened their doors, but Europe was kind of slow to it. So I don't know.
well, I don't know because Europe, right? If like you look into it, you see Europe is the first to actually begin in the concept of a e-resident. You know,
mm,
so because of that, they're able to do a conjunction of different things that apply to that. Because now,
like a non-physical residency, like almost like a PO box here, but in Europe instead.
yep, but it'll be
Gotcha.
listed as a business address, and it's almost like the what do you call it? The stipulations behind it is like for instance, people will ask me like, well, how come you just have the documents mailed to you? Because part of the stipulations is that I have to actually come out to the embassy and finish getting processed. Like I had to
Right.
do my fingerprinting and all that stuff. So I had to
Right.
come to the embassy and get that done. So you have people that come here to America from Europe that are stationed here to actually operate and process, people that's here in America and, complete the process of becoming the whole e-residency or whatever. So, of course, I would have had the shit mailed to me if that was the case. I could have
Right.
saved some time and money, but that was part
Right.
of the
Right.
process. And also,
Right.
I don't just do the shit for fun. Now,
Right.
another part of the process is I believe they're giving me a 3-month period where I actually have to go to Europe. Eventually I
Okay.
have to go to Europe and establish certain things. I don't know exactly what it is yet, but you do have to step foot on the
Probably,
soil.
probably a jurisdictional thing, and more than likely, I mean, if you were able to do it freely without necessarily having to be received on the other end of a European state, I think it would be more or less like the same way as identifying an individual as a recipient or someone that had been received or had put the government on notice that they did in fact exist. Because you could be anybody; they don't know who you are. Even though you
Exactly.
got embassy notifying it, you could have been dead. Somebody could have took your account. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? So they don't want to
Yep.
be suspected, and they may do that yearly. They may have to turn around. They may say, well, on an annual basis, you got to have a passport and all this other stuff. So I'm sure there's going to be some other groundwork as far as that's concerned. But
Especially as it grows.
right, exactly.
Especially as it grows. You know, so that's why I didn't hesitate to, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be more expensive to actually, you know, for the process itself is gonna be more expensive as time goes and as it becomes like a normal thing. Because
Right.
certain things you could tell that eventually this is gonna be a normal thing, you know, because
Right.
everything is going to this one world of commerce and business and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
and then the IRS want to reach out, the state want to reach out, the government want to reach out. You bringing in any tax revenue, TARF money. You know, they having a TARF war right now. You know, if you don't trade our commodities, you don't do these exchanges, we gonna throw your products out, or we gonna up the rate. I mean, next thing you know, bread, milk, and water and everything else gonna be more expensive because we buying it from another country in which we're in some type of commercial conflict with, all because we want to keep things American. But when European countries come and invest in you, and then you try to kick them out, I'm not sure our president understands what exactly he's doing, because he's not just affecting the domestic markets, he's affecting the world markets, which will be in conflict of American interests, which eventually will start wars. That's the reality. You know what I'm saying? You know, Gaddafi's a perfect example. He said, I'm going to the gold, bullion, and silver standard. And they said, okay, we're going to give you a chance. Send their little economical hitman in, and boom, next thing you know, he's dead. So, you know, I'm not surprised, bro. I'm not surprised, you know.
See, we definitely living in some historical times, man. I'm glad to be a part of it. I'm trying to get in where I fit in and make it work for the best. You know what I'm saying? You know, I mean, it's all about the first in line, first in time.
Yeah.
You know, because being the first in line in these different changes in the economy and the world itself, we're able to adjust and pretty much create our own positions. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to being put in those positions. Because once everything is set up and accustomed to being, you know, so-called normal, or you know, to the society as a whole, it's like, I don't want to be put in no more positions. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to have an inside outside look on a situation before it becomes, you know,
it becomes too normal. It becomes too normal
yeah.
that you can't really control. You have no contributing control factors over what you really want, as opposed to what people appoint you to do. It's like you want to be the first electee instead of being appointed later on and finding out you ain't really going to benefit from it because you got to wait for the next tier and then the people underneath you and all of that.
It's like the basic concepts of anything. Like it's like you know, when it's like if me and you was the first two people to establish the first couple accounts when Chase first opened the first Chase Bank, or JP Morgan opened the first Chase Bank, or Bank of America, we're grandfathered in that position. So whatever you know, whatever it was, it's like the new terms and conditions of whatever contract that they give new bankers and stuff like that doesn't apply to us, because we were grandfathered in before that new revision of the contract. You know, so that's what I'm all about now. That's what I'm paying close attention to, and I jumped head over heels with that Care Bar shit too. So as soon as I heard that shit was they opened up the first cryptocurrency bank in Miami, and I was there in Miami, and I fucking forgot to go check it out myself. But the first cryptocurrency bank that's backed by gold, may I add that important factor? You know, I'm like, I already know that's just the first of many. Once you're able to establish first of all, a bank in general, but a bank of that nature in a major city like Miami.
Right. Yeah.
So I need to be the first in line, first in time on that shit.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's like an equity investment. You want to be able to be first right there, like, yo, I'm buying in, you know, I'm a priority, and this is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I completely understand. I get it.
Whether it goes good or bad, I'm in a safe position to pull out. You see what I mean? Because this is the thing. When you able to pay close attention to the beginning levels of something, you able to see if the tower's gonna fall down or not. You know what I'm saying? Or if it has your best interest or not. You know, as opposed to it being introduced to you 10 years down the line, where everybody and their mama is using cryptocurrency. We don't have no paper dollars, PayPal. No, everything is crypto now.
Right.
You know, half the world still don't understand what the hell crypto is, or the significance of it.
Right, or the impact of what eventually will become a public statement, which will be
every sign of the way the world is transitioning to. Is telling you we're going into the cryptocurrency whether we like it or not. This is going to be the one world currency, hands down, hands down. So we either gonna position ourselves, or we gonna fall into the matrix as it's presented to us, in the future.
Right. Well, I've always
We're not
believed
gonna
that
have any type of.
I still think that physical assets is our main. I think physical assets is still the main competitor to all problems in general, and that means, for instance, it's local commodities we typically take for granted: housing, cars, development, infrastructure. Community. I mean, for the most part, if communities own and ran themselves, and introducing cryptocurrency to it and kicking out the Federal Reserve note shouldn't be a problem. I mean, you would think that if there was a collective, negotiable principle to everyone saying, yes, we agree that crypto should be the currency of our township or our city. Or that's why I said I want to buy a city, because if I buy a city, guess what happens when I turn around and say we're no longer using Federal Reserve notes and we're going to usher in a flag from another country. And not only we're going to use their currency, we're going to use their exchange ratio, and we're going to turn around and use the cryptocurrency to do the exchange with, say, the IRS or any other government entity, which we create our own rates, inflation, domestic turnaround, investment turnover ratio against any profits or dividends that should be handed out. At the end of the day, you dictate your market based on what the market volatility or your community is producing. And if everybody's in on it, then you shouldn't have to ask the government for money if you control your own currency. I mean, you would think that would be the idea, but that isn't the mental symbiosis of the way people think as organisms in a collective entity. And since we don't think and act and do these things, well, then we systematically struggle with this, not only the suggestion, but what the government says we can and cannot do. And when they regulate that, we can't determine what's going to happen next. They can determine it based on the way we see it, the way they see the future. Like, okay, let's go paperless. Let's make sure they understand that they're going to benefit from this, but make sure that the basis of it still looks like a Federal Reserve system in place. That's the thing, is that if they replace it with one thing, even though you think you have power, in reality, they're subscribing it to give you the impression of power, yet they still have the policy power, they still have the war power, they got guns, they got planes, and what do we own and control?
See,
let's be honest.
At the end of hands down. See, that's why we got to pay attention to shit at the beginning of the times. Come in with a conscious mind, knowing that shit, not coming in settled like and being naive of the fact that the matter on who is actually regulating this new so-called system or whatever, or way of commerce. At the end of the day, they're still gonna all these incentives and ways that the regular people can buy in or be involved and benefit from the new markets and shit like that. All that is smoke and buy the the government time to digitize all the assets. So while Wall Street is digitizing all the gold, all the silver,
to make it less pliable, so you can't have a physical asset. That's what it's all about. Eventually, that's what they want to do. They want to make sure you can't have any physical assets.
If you can't have any physical asset, that strips even more power away from you than you had in the first place.
Exactly, and that's why
what's going to happen is they're giving the people the cryptocurrency, and the people are going to assume that's the power because a lot of people are going to benefit from that. But what they don't understand is the power is inside of the blockchain. So if we don't have the power, to say what happens and what doesn't happen within the blockchain, because the blockchain controls all the cryptocurrencies. Without a blockchain, the cryptocurrency is worthless or unsecure. Who wants to do business in an unsecure system?
Unsecured, yeah, that's right. That's like having no No, it's like having no FDIC, but then turn around saying it's backed by the full faith and credit. Right. Gives the illusion of inclusion.
That's the game. That's the game. That's because they're not publicly telling people that they already have it in black and white right now. As a U.S. citizen can no longer buy into the blockchain.
Mm.
You have to be a
Well, hold on.
foreign
When they pass a
national.
policy, when they pass a policy
Uh,
like that?
oh, this shit happened. The first announcement of this happened in December, right when Bitcoin skyrocketed, hit that 10,000 mark, and then they made the announcement right
Really?
before the year ended that said, hell yeah, this like they tell us flat out, like if we paying attention, they told us
Right.
that as soon as they made the announcement of Bitcoin futures. Bitcoin futures
Mm.
was when now the financial institutions, the big sharks, J.P. Morgan's, Bank of America, all these other motherfuckers,
Mm.
now they can invest and do side bids on the outside market to help fluctuate and regulate the market. That's when once that happened,
Right.
if and this is only fact because people can look at the charts. We had all these different
Mm.
cryptocurrencies that people was buying into, the Litecoin, Bitcoin, Big Cat, whatever the fuck. And if you look at the charts, the
Mm.
fluctuation of the charts were different because they were their own separate fucking coin. Why is it that now
And they weren't
the
regulated.
value of
And they
each
weren't
coin might be
regulated.
different,
They weren't
but the fucking
regulated.
fluctuation rate is
Did you
exactly
hear
the
me?
same? How is that possible?
Did you hear me?
Huh?
Did you hear me? Because they're not, because they weren't being they
What?
weren't being regulated at the time. So that means the market being regulated by entities or any federal or any corporate institutions.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You see, so at the end of
That's
that's what I
exactly
mean. That's why I say
what I'm saying.
he,
You can literally see it
right,
though when you look
right.
at the charts.
Like I got a few
Common sense tell you it's being
right
regulated.
now. Right, exactly. Now here's the thing. Here's another thing that I just found out. I might be up there real soon in Indiana, and you're breaking up horribly. I don't know if it's the feed or what, but
Damn.
uh, yeah, the feed is just garbage, bro. um, I got a bunch of Amish people up there saying that the state is bothering them. The cities, the county, and they're all so tight for money. They gotten to the point where now they want to turn around and start liquidating the Amish communities. And they said, "What can we do?" And because they represent the principle of where they're originally from, Germany. I say I can bring the German flag here, and when the German flag enters into Indiana, they would have jurisdiction over the people. So in essence, they can act as multinationals, the same way as if you went offshore, same exact way. The only thing is that the status wouldn't be in the form of diplomacy; it would be in the protection and rights of the Constitution of that particular country. Like if I'm driving around, I mean, jurisprudence is I'm driving around with my vehicle, and even though I got tags from another state or a license from another state, the cop always tells you should get your car registered here because what they want is they want jurisdiction. And that means that the state flag of that
Mm-hmm.
state and the state that you're driving in are two foreign different entities. So in essence, they can't, if they give me a tip, I pull out my ID. This is a trick out of my bag, by the way. Okay, it's from Professor Phil. You heard it here first. If you pull out your state ID and you're from another state and you tell the government, you ask not only do you write the attorney general of the other state, but you write the revenue agent of the county or city that you got your ID in via the state of whatever state you're derived from, asking them as a representative of the state and an elected official or anointed, appointed, whatever you want to call it. Do you still represent my interest in this particular district as I am an elector I am a voter of that. You don't have to be registered. You don't have to be registered to vote, but I am a voter of that city, county, state, or wherever you're residing from. When you get that letter identifying that you're registered or that you have an interest in that state, you bring that constitution to another state. That state can't raise revenue off you anymore because they don't have jurisdiction over your commodity or exchange, your car, your house, whatever it happens to be, and which you're using in a foreign jurisdiction. Like using foreign flags in
So,
dispute with an agency or an entity, and they come on your land and they don't have any jurisdiction. Not only can they be sued, the other state can unilaterally come over here and sue the state for trying to use the revenue against a person, which is the interest of that particular state. It's like one
so
nationhood via a foreign corporation or a foreign nation, so to speak.
So you say bring in the German flag, and then
Yeah.
don't
Them-
actually have them register to vote, but do a letter of
No.
you
What
say
I'm
write up
saying
a
is that
letter
if
as
you
if
bring
they
in, if you
what
bring
do
in
you,
the germ, if you bring no, that was in my case personally. What I'm doing is bringing in the German, saying that these people are represented by that state by ancestry and lineage as far
I
as
see
their
what you're saying.
nationality is concerned, and they don't necessarily have to establish that they're German.
Right.
They just simply have to use the flag normality to their negotiation in commerce. So when they get stopped, they I got a flag on my car. I'm riding with the German flags, or I'm in a horse and buggy and I got German flags. I pull out my constitution and say,
This the
I'm a
you know what
resident of Indiana, but go ahead.
this the problem though. The
What were you
problem with
saying?
that, I said the problem that I see with the group is that for one, they're Amish and they're easy to point out. It's like they can point them out
Right,
from a
right.
mile away. So and they know, and they and another problem is we're talking about a small crooked county that's operating outside of their own capacity.
Yeah.
They have
Right.
conservation officers. They have conservation officers locking these people up for not for suspended driver's license and stuff like that. But I just learned from that experience that the damn conservation officer, because I'm like, okay, because the sheriff can't fuck with them no more, or the regular police can't fuck with them. So who the fuck are these conservation officers? Because I'm thinking like the highest person in the county was the sheriff, but I was proved wrong. The people that have the highest authority as far as being able to detain is the conservation officers. I thought they just worried about wildlife, but they have higher jurisdiction throughout the whole state. Actually, okay, I was right.
Now
The
the
sheriff
question
does
is,
have the highest power in the
well, hold
county,
on.
but
They exactly,
conservation
because it's
officers
in
have
the
the power throughout the
Constitution.
state. Yeah, by water
Right.
and land,
No,
right?
okay.
Because those motherfuckers will hop on that
Oh, you
damn
mean
boat.
they have multi? No, that means they have
Yes,
multi-jurisdictional.
water
They have
and land.
multi-jurisdictional.
Yes.
It's like an interstate cop. He can go from city to city, town to town. He can go from the streets to the highway. He can basically multi-jurisdictional. He has a multi-jurisdictional task in which he can cross into any particular jurisdiction and negotiate terms and conditions of an average individual. I get that. I'm saying that for the most part, I understand that they're sticking out, but the sticking out part is the good part. It's the fact that first of all, if you're using German flags for the purpose of national dispute, then your national dispute isn't with the United States anymore. It's whether or not Germany honors its national promise to protect its own. So it's kind of like I go from Ghana, come here, and then I get roughed up by some cops. So I turn around and call the embassy. The embassy calls Ghana. Ghana sends out 5 guys, which we'll call troops, and they enter my vehicle and ride around wherever I go, so that the locals understand that I'm a multinational. And when the local government realizes that, they stop taxing me. They honor any dispute that I have in the constitutional right of doing something that the Guyanese constitution consolidates into the power of negotiating any type of treaty or anything that could be agreed upon, so that the local government isn't in conflict with the Constitution, and so that neither Constitution is in conflict of any negotiation that I may enter into. In other words, they'll respect me, I'll honor them, and therefore we both go our commercial ways. And that's what I'm attempting to do with the Amish, is that basically collectively force them into a nexus where the corporate government, the local government, can't touch them, and that the state government will honor the flag on the German side, and the German side will allow them to use the tax principle so that they can raise their money but not rob the shit out of the locals, because that's basically what they're doing right now. They're robbing the locals because they're not raising revenue from them. And without enough revenue, we got an issue.
Well, this is the thing. They're not raising enough revenue for them because they're completely private. And the thing is that we're in America, so all of those
Yeah,
flags and
theft
stuff
is
like that from
legal.
the different
Theft is
countries,
legal.
everything. Hold on one sec. The problem I
Yeah,
see is
I
that
said
because
theft is legal if you
I
live
believe,
in
of course, that they're
you
gonna
live inside
respect
of an
the German flag. Just like they respect the Chinese flag. They respect every. It's like anybody can be here in America. The problem is that they have to be
Right.
registered. That's the problem.
Right.
We're talking about a group of a family, a group that's here that's not registered within the system, and they're on the land and living on the land as nomads and not paying their tax to